So we start this story off in a boardroom in a high building in Havenstone. Now, on one side of the boardroom are three purple-clothed, form-fitting, very rich Havenstone citizens. And on the other are two mechs and a man in a blue suit. Now, the man in the blue suit's name is Faimond Painter. And he's sitting there with this smug, happy expression. He's feeling very victorious. And he feels that way because the man in purple in the middle is signing a document. Now, this document gives him full rights over Dodgecalv University's Research and Science Department. Now, Dodgecalv University is not just a university at this point. It's a lot like the Posessions in the fact that they had an original purpose when they were formed, and now they've grown so large that they are filling other niches. Dodgecalv has become more of a corporation than a university at this point. And the man signing the document's name is Robin Thultor. Thultor's quite a bit older than Faimond. Faimond's around in his early 20s, and Thultor's been around for a while. He's been around, he's got to be in his late 30s, getting close to 40, and he's not happy about this arrangement. Along with the arrangement, Faimond also gets control over the research division, and it becomes his own company. So Thultor has been charged with not only signing over the science department, he's also been charged with rebuilding the new science and research department. He's just as, or almost as smart as Faimond, but there's really nothing that Thultor can do about it at this point, but he's definitely got something planned up his sleeve. Now, the reason why Faimond's gaining control of this company is because he discovered a child trafficking ring that was orchestrated by the two men on the left and right. Faimond is a cutthroat capitalist, but one thing he takes very seriously are sex crimes. So Faimond gets the document and he stands up and he leaves with his two mechs. And his mechs' names are Arvulus and Renus, and they are just the funniest things in the world. They cannot stop fighting with each other. Even when they're walking down the hall and on their way out, they just can't stop fighting with each other. And they have these thick accents. Now, waiting outside is Faimond's right-hand man, Brad Lee. Now, Brad, as opposed to Faimond, is a bit of a bookworm. He just like Faimond, he's very smart, but unlike Faimond, he just doesn't have that gravitas toward himself. And they walk out of the boardroom and toward their hovel, where there's a huge crowd. There's patrol knights that have to guard a carpeted way toward their hovel, and there are journalists everywhere taking pictures, asking questions. You know, Mr. Painter, Mr. Painter, Mr. Painter, can we get a word? Can we get a word here? You know, like, they're just going crazy. And he stops and says, he starts talking to the prettiest one. Faimond's a bit of a womanizer, and she says, "Can I get a quote?" And he says, "No, but you can have my number." And he slips his number into her pocket. From there, he gets into the car. Because Arvulus and Renus are arguing, and they've been arguing this whole entire time over just the most random stuff, Brad turns around and in a rage, he just yells, "Shut up, you two!" And that's enough time for Faimond to get in the car and the other three not to notice there are people sitting in the car waiting for them. As Faimond gets in the car, he sees these people and he tries to come back, and they grab him and they yank him in there and slam the door. And Brad turns around and he's like, "Oh my God." He tries to open the door, he can't open the door, and then the hovel drives off, and Brad's holding onto the handle, about to plummet to his death, and they start shaking the car and they drop him off, and Brad goes down, and Arvulus and Renus are there at the end, and they don't know what happened. Meanwhile, Faimond is inside the car just being knocked around, and he's grabbed by these two men. He says, "You know, who the hell are you? What do you want?" And just as he asks who they want, the divider between the driver and the hovel cab goes down, and a man who looks like the normal driver, suddenly his face morphs into this black skin and Argonian helmet, and he says, "All we want is you, sweetheart."